accused of a murder that occurred on August 8, 1998, on 14th and Pennsylvania Street. I immediately snapped out of my sleeping daze and adamantly denied any personal knowledge or involvement in the hideous crime. I was irrational due to my absolute innocence, with no lawyer present, no experience in any type of the police interrogation in my life, and while being functionally illiterate in the law procedure, I immaturely waived my rights and naively gave the detectives a statement from my blared recollections. Placing myself in the area of the crime because of the building I was in the night of the pop sounds. Since I confidently had absolute innocence on my side, why not explain to the detectives what I heard in the building? Major misconception on my part. This is when my entire mental capacity was shattered to near oblivion upon Detective Jones telling me, "We have 2 eyewitnesses who identify you as the shooter in the murder." Seconds later, I was charged with the offense, and uniformed police immediately forced me to relinquish my sky blue Nike running shoes off my feet, as well as my white blue Pele Pill sweatpants, claiming they needed them for gunpowder testing, which was negative, and placed me in the county jail barefooted with an orange gel jumpsuit, convicting me in the onset. "This is a big mistake. You all have the wrong man," I declared repeatedly at the top of my lungs, still not conceiving the really inhuman tragedy that would burn my soul like a scorching hot spoon perpetually in the months to follow. Now, before I go on, I want to say a couple things about witnesses. Witnesses can be very unreliable. If you're on a jury, don't always think that the witnesses are telling the truth. Don't always think that the witnesses are giving you the facts. What witnesses see may be different than what happened. It seems to me a good defense attorney can break down the story of many witnesses. Witnesses, you also have to look at the witness's character. A lot of times the witnesses are crooks themselves, habitual liars. In many cases, they're told what to say by the prosecution, and they're threatened by the police. You also have jailhouse snitches. There's not one in this case, but if there's a jailhouse snitch on the stand, the odds are he's lying. And that brings unreasonable doubt. I would never convict a person on a jailhouse snitch's testimony. So, you have to look at all the evidence. But you have to realize, too, that witnesses aren't reliable. I was in a car accident one time. I was run off the road by a guy in a pickup truck. There were 5 of us in my car. There were 5 different descriptions of the pickup truck. One guy said it was a station wagon. There were different colors, different makes and models. So you can't really go by witness testimony. If all the witnesses, let's say you have 10 witnesses, and all of them have to tell the exact same story, the odds are that they were told what to say. Because no witness's testimony is going to be exactly the same. As we go through this, we're going to hear testimony of witnesses. And you're going to hear inconsistencies in testimony. Also, if at all possible, and I'm sure it's required, that you should be able to see the police reports from when the police talk to these witnesses. And during the witnesses' testimony, your attorney should notice differences in what they said to the police in the first place. It seems to me that there's a lot of ways that you can tell if a witness is telling the truth. And that is what's important if you're on a jury. If the case is strictly based on witness testimony and no other evidence, I don't think I could convict a person. I have to see more evidence, DNA evidence especially. In many cases, DNA evidence is lost, never gets into trial, especially if it says that the guy didn't do it. So, what we have to do is look at these cases closely. And if you're on a jury, that's imperative. You have to find out if that witness is telling the truth. And it seems to me if you really listen and watch the witness, you can tell. Now, in a lot of cases, the lawyer is not working for the defendant. The lawyer is working for the state. The lawyer is, that's my cat, by the way. The lawyer, in many cases, is not a good lawyer. In many cases, he's asleep half the time. And in many cases, he is going to make sure that you are found guilty. So remember what I said as we go through the rest of this. And this is long, so what you may want to do is when you get halfway through, take a break. Maybe even come back tomorrow for it. Okay. Donald Brooks is one of two witnesses, defectives. Actually, it should be detectives, but I just had a Freudian slip. Identified me. Brooks gave Detective Jones a statement on August 15th, 1998, just one day after my arrest. Also, after Shirley Guston informed Brooks that he was a suspect in the crime. In Brooks' statement, he says that he was lying down on his cousin's apartment couch